Hello and welcome to the SuperShow podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Alex Jones.
And I am Jamie.
Why did I call myself Alex Jones? I never did that.
Because you are an Alex Jones.
But you've done this to me over the years. You've made me call myself by my full name.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Alex Jones.
Reprogrammed you.
You have.
Rewired it.
Your old friends and family have weird nicknames for you, like Al.
Yeah.
Who would call you Al? Yeah, doesn't that seem weird?
Call me Al.
No, that's weird.
Jonesy is what I generally I can't say that word. Generally go by.
Hell yeah. You
Generally
always be
Jonesy.
Jonesy in my heart,
Yeah.
Alex Jones.
Mine too.
No, you always on these sorts of things. You always call me Alex Jones.
Well, anyway, these sorts of things. What are we doing here? We are a podcast. We are a predominantly gaming podcast, but we, every now and then, I'm pretty sure we'll dip our toes into various other genres.
Do you know
like
what's weird? Is how I know
movies.
we've spent too much time together. Is in my head I was thinking we might dip our toe, and then you said it.
Oh, there we go.
Psychic.
You lot have toes on your mind too much.
It's almost like you guys can finish my...
Sandwiches.
Arsehole.
Wow, yeah.
Finish my ass.
My arsehole sandwich, yeah.
My arsehole was pretty messed up, but I want you to finish it.
Yeah.
For good.
But it's a brave new world. It's a brand new YouTube channel for us, and we're looking forward to the future. And we hope that you guys are along for the ride.
Indeed. If you've made it this far into the video already, thank you.
Yeah, congratulations. You deserve a cookie.
You may know us from such podcasts as The Super Show on, should we mention it?
Yeah.
On All Time
The
Gaming.
channel that should not be named.
Yeah.
Well, I just did.
Hey, listen,
Apologise.
All Time Gaming used to be our baby. We
Yep.
started it, the three of us, and we finished it.
This is our new home.
This is our new home.
This is our new home, complete with a brick wall.
Temporary.
Temporary brick
Pay
wall.
no attention.
Yeah, we can't really afford it, so it's gonna go away. So.
Yeah, the next podcast is going to be us in a field, just like homeless.
That could be part of one of the gimmicks, is just in a different place every
Homeless
time.
gaming. I like it.
Public podcasting. It's a
Ooh.
new subgenre.
I like it.
I like the idea of getting like a bus with a podcast setup, and you drive around the country doing podcasts in all different places, and have like a little one of those little things on the roof that kind of.
Oh, what? Like from the fucking Alan Partridge movie?
Yeah, exactly.
Alpha
right.
Papa.
So you can be like, today we're in the lovely town of Reading.
As long as
Come
you
and
flush
see
yourself
us."
down the toilet, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Right, so what's on the agenda for today, guys? What do you think? Well, I'm the host. I should probably know this, right?
Yeah, you should probably tell us.
I know what's on the agenda because you told me, to be fair.
Oh, so what is it, Alex Jones?
Today we're going to be doing a bit of a year in review.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
It's an appropriate time for it.
What better way to
Indeed.
kick off the end of the year
We're gonna
and kick off the new podcast?
Yeah, start the podcast with the end of the year review.
Yeah.
Yeah, so get ready to enjoy us both A, reflecting on the year, and B, struggling to remember it.
Yeah. Well, to be
Absolutely.
fair, it's been kind of a weird year for gaming, hasn't it?
It has. I mean, it's kind of one of those in-between years where we know next year is going to be pretty hot and heavy, both because the first, I don't know, let's say 5-6 months are going to be filled with some of the biggest releases of the generation, all trying to get in time before new consoles come out.
Yes.
And in the end of the year,
Yeah.
we'll have those new consoles.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
mad. Next year is looking like such a ridiculous year for
Yeah.
gaming. Like, it could be up there as like a fucking golden year.
Could be a golden year.
I think this year though it has already been underrated. There's been a lot of, I think, toward the back end of the year, there have actually been some good games come out.
Yeah.
And I think there have been some things that haven't maybe been appreciated as fully as they should have been appreciated.
I know exactly which game you're talking about, sure.
I think it's across the
right,
board.
yeah.
There have been quite a few games like that.
Well,
this specific year.
But before maybe we go into gaming specifics, let's talk about when we were going into this year. I remember speaking with you, Jamie, and we were saying, man, it's going to be such a shit year for gaming. It's always like a bad year when there's that transition period from
Yes.
one
Yes.
generation to the next. And we're like, man, this year's going to be so shit. But I was pleasantly surprised. I think I'm falling down coming down on your side of it by saying,
Good man.
yeah, it probably is a bit underrated. I know Jamie feels otherwise.
I do feel otherwise.
Wow.
I think maybe it's because people look back too fondly on 2018 and 2017, whereas 2019's, just as good, I feel.
I don't think I look too fondly on
certainly-
2018.
Hold on, certainly not just as good as 2018 and 2017.
I think so, maybe.
No ways. You had genre-defining games in both of those years, which you
did in
did
this
not
year
have
too.
this year.
The thing I think about a lot when it comes to previous years, 2018 we were trying to decide between God of War and Red Dead Redemption 2. And
Genre-defining.
Genre-defining. 2017 we were trying to decide between Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, and Horizon Zero Dawn. As an example, this year it's like, I guess Resident Evil 2 was good game. Yeah, and Sekiro was not for me, but seems pretty good.
Sure, I think there were fewer big hitters this year, but I think there were actually some decent get across the average. Is it Moneyball where he's like, just get on base? It doesn't matter about the high scorers. It matters about the total score. If they can get on base,
I don't think
the total
score. I don't think the total score was that good. I'm going to be honest with you.
All right.
I think my top 10 would be a list of games that are just kind of like, yeah, it's pretty good.
I think it's been a solid year, not a great year. But a solid year, like a solid foundation. But next year is looking fucking mental. But let's talk about some of the games.
Can we just, because we did think this year was going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, that's why I just said it at the beginning of the segment.
Yeah, and then obviously things got pushed. Things didn't happen.
Some high-profile disappointments, which I'm sure we'll come around to.
Yeah, shout out Doom.
Well, yeah. Although, again, double shout out Doom because they sent us cupcakes.
Cupcakes. Thank you, Bethesda. Send more cupcakes, this time to the SuperShow.
Yeah, hell no fixed address. Just we'll find it.
We'll get a P.O. box and it would just have like cupcakes, probably some weird sausages, a dildo.
Should we get a P.O. box?
No.
Is that a thing?
I think maybe we should. One of our
P.O. boxes cost money, so.
But one of our patrons wanted to send us pizza.
Yeah, but we are properly broke right now.
We need more patrons.
Yeah. Well, at the time of recording, we don't have any patrons.
Yeah.
Oh, well, look,
so before we go into the games, let's maybe do a little bit of housekeeping, right?
Okay.
So we do have, if you are watching this on YouTube, thank you very much. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe because all of that helps us kind of get picked up into the SEO, as I'm sure you know.
We're a brand new channel, so help us out.
I think we'll probably be aiming to do a podcast each week, right?
Yeah, I think that's the hope.
And we are hoping to do more than just podcasts on this channel in the coming months. Mm-hmm. So, be sure to stick around, get your notifications on, click that bell to find out what is available. We also have set up a Twitter, which is @SuperShowPod, if you want to get updates from there. And you can also follow us on our personal individual Twitters. I am @ChrisJMono.
I'm currently @ATG Jonesy, but that will probably be changing. So remains to be seen.
Yeah. What about you, Jamie?
So I'm @ATG Jamie, and I can't figure out whether to go with Chris' idea of just kind of
just
a reimagining or recontextualizing what ATG stands for.
All the gooch.
All the gooch, yeah. All the Gucci.
All the Gucci.
I tell you what, I'm not going to change my handle to SS Pod Jonesy.
SS Pod.
Hey, listen.
SS Jonesy.
Should we just knock that one out of the park in a moment and say, we are not now, never will be an alt-right.
Well, no, hold on, because now that you've said it, it's all we're going to be fucking referred to
Well,
now.
to be fair, peek behind the curtain, Chris was working on the sort of the graphics we got on the channel at the moment. Got us to come around and have a look at the logo. It was just SS.
No.
Listen, it's called a circular avatar, and you need to have it succinct.
Christ.
I was joking that we can never celebrate Movember ever again.
Definitely not.
Movember here at the SS.
Jesus
well,
Christ.
anyway, but yes, if you are listening to this on a podcast platform, I think to begin with, we're going to be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts, but we will be expanding in the very near future. But if you're watching on that, we do have a YouTube channel, so please go and check it out. We don't have a URL for you because we are too small at the moment, but we will get there.
If you like it, maybe give it a review. Drop a few stars.
Would you say 5 stars?
I think 5 stars probably sounds about right.
I mean, I know it's only 8 minutes into this podcast, but this is feeling like a 5-star podcast to me.
If you can give an Uber trip 5 stars, you can definitely give this podcast 5 stars.
Yeah. I haven't made up my mind yet. I'm hovering around the 4 mark.
Well, why don't you go fuck yourself?
I will do.
Well, later. One of the cool things from one of the podcasts, Dota podcast actually that I listen to, what they do is they encourage people to leave Apple ratings.
Yes.
And then in the next episode, they read out some of those ratings. So it could be...
Oh, okay.
It's an incentive to get people to vote. Not necessarily that you have to vote 5-star, although I'm only going to read 5-star reviews. But yeah, it might
I will read any star reviews just because some of them might be funny. So,
but it might be a nice thing. So consider doing that.
I genuinely love that. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I think it's fun. But yeah, we are hoping to do potentially some more Dungeons and Dragons campaigns, resurrect our characters. It was Krog, Gideon, and Jeff. And
all the lads.
All the lads. You never know. We're also opening up, like we said, we can dip our toe into numerous things like movie reviews, etc. So
TV,
I guess it's
Netflix.
It's television.
It's kind of exciting, though, isn't it? You guys are having 2 separate conversations. It's exciting, I'm saying, because it's like a blank canvas.
Chris, the world is our oyster, and we can do whatever we want.
Yeah,
technically.
Stick your dick in it.
No, don't. Yeah.
Well,
what? It's sharp around the edge.
There's still some rules about that.
Yeah.
Okay,
we don't have to get into them now, but I can tell you later. I've been reading up.
Okay, and with that, should we get into the meat and to veg on this fucking podcast?
Gaming year in review.
Hell yeah.
To 2019. Like that. I know Jamie loves this.
That sounded like what's that Ugandan?
2012.
2016. That's my Ugandan voice.
1, 2, and 3.
Do you know what I'd like to start with? I want to be reminded of some games I've forgotten came out early this year.
There are a lot of them. January and February were there were a barren wasteland of average to bad games you instantly forgot existed.
Any highlights? I know you got a list in front of you.
Well, to be fair to January, there were
Yes.
some decent games. January is often when Japan does a lot of their best work.
Fair enough, yeah.
So Kingdom Hearts 3, Resident Evil 2 were amongst the games to hit in January.
Well, Kingdom Hearts 3 was in Jan.
Yeah, that's
That
longer
does
than
seem
you thought.
early.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like a
that's
month
mad.
away from a year ago.
It kind of felt like, I don't know, like, beginning of the year, but not Jan. That's amazing. But so on that game, I guess not everything that fans were hoping for, from what I can gather.
Apparently not. I mean, I just kind of ignore that crowd
Yeah.
and tend to assume they're always happy, because you must be always happy if you like Winnie the Pooh interacting with Final Fantasy characters. But no, it seems like with hindsight, maybe not everything they hoped it would be. But
That's a weird one for me as well, because if you're so hyped about the third installment of that game coming out, and then you have to wait for it, and then it comes out. I played it. I played it at E3, had a little go, and I was like, oh, okay, I can see why this is a fun little game.
But you're not a big fan.
I'm not any sort of fan. I've barely.
So I think
paid any
that's what it is.
attention to
All you were doing was playing a decent
game.
Square Enix
Yeah.
game. Like that's what
I
it is.
thought the combat was fun, and the environments were fun. I mean, there was some of it was in like Andy's bedroom. I think I played a bit of Toy
Well,
Story.
I have heard. I did not play the game, so caveat there. But I have heard that the story was even more nonsensical than what it 1 and 2 appear to be.
Disney characters in some weird world with Japanese anime.
No, but that's
JRPG.
That's not
like
the,
what?
That's not the thing that people got like fucking weirded out by. It's all this shit about like, oh, here's this character who's actually the manifestation of this person's heart, and like it's like fuck off. Like no one cares.
so I bought it the other day. Just gonna throw that out there.
We've just been
Impulse
slagging off
buy?
Jamie for the last 10 minutes.
I mean, it was on sale at a reasonable price, and I
What's
thought
reasonable?
11.
Oh, okay. Well, for a game that came out like not even a year ago,
You couldn't even pay me 11 to play.
Yeah, I bought it at the same time I bought Anthem, so
Yeah,
it was
Given
in
the
a
days
strange
good
state of
old
mind.
double whammy there.
Given
Yeah.
that Days Gone is still full price in a lot of places, I think £11 for Kingdom Hearts is not bad.
Days Gone sold like hotcakes though for some reason.
Yeah, it's
I
weird,
mean,
especially in Japan, dude. Like,
yeah, I mean, apparently people like bikes and bikers and zombies.
fair enough. Then, I mean, what was the last good one? Ride to Hell Retribution. So
Big time. The last good video game, Bike.
I'm going to say something that'll blow your mind.
Yeah.
I haven't finished Days Gone yet.
Yeah.
it's not really blowing my mind.
Do you know
It's
what?
par for the course for you, Jones.
I wouldn't have blamed you even if you tried, because Days Gone is longer than it has any right to be.
Do you reckon that game? We're getting a bit of ahead of ourselves here. But
Yeah.
do you reckon that Days Gone would have been a lot? So obviously it reviewed well and it sold well, right? Towards the end of it,
Reviewed okay-ish.
reviewed
I'd say.
okay-ish. But do you reckon if it was a much shorter campaign? Because what is it like a
60 hours? is
50,
it?
60 hours,
yeah.
yeah.
Let's say if it was a
Ridiculous.
20-hour campaign, do you think people would be like, yeah, actually? Because I've always felt that like games like that are unnecessarily long, the devs kind of like stretch themselves out unnecessarily,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, actually, you could have had if you made a smaller story, you could have polished it up a bit more. You could have made each encounter like really fucking memorable.
Yeah.
Almost like you could say like, you look at games like The Last of Us. It
Right.
didn't need to be long.
You know,
You
you're
get,
absolutely- I think-
you
I
get
think
to the
you're
end of the
absolutely
don't get me
right,
wrong,
yeah.
you get to the
I
end of the
agree.
game and you're like, fuck, I wish that was longer, but that's not the point of it.
I don't. I think The Last of Us, the first one, I was like, that is a great length of that game. For
Yeah.
me, it was bang on. I didn't want
Yeah.
it any longer. I didn't want it any shorter. I thought it was about right.
Little bit of a teaser for games coming up later on the list, but Control was the same for me.
That was, yeah. Again, I wouldn't have
good
wanted
amount
that
of
to be
time.
any longer.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah. I think with Days Gone, the issue was that the narrative was actually a bit clumsy when
Yeah.
it got round to telling that story. And I worry that if they've made a more concise experience, that it wouldn't have worked. It's kind of like Death Stranding, right?
Yeah.
Death Stranding has 7+ hours of cutscenes over 60 hours of gameplay, and it's kind of spread out that you get long periods without it, and you kind of if those 7 hours of cutscenes were in a 30-hour game, I think Death Stranding would have been a piece of shit.
That would have been awful.
That would have
wouldn't it?
been dreadful.
Well, I've got news for you. I didn't finish Death Stranding. I didn't even play it. What I did is I
Yep.
watched all of the cutscenes on
I'm
YouTube at 2 times
I'm
speed.
so impressed that you stuck.
It
'Cause that's 3.5 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a 7-hour
I
video.
was about to brag
Madness.
that Chris knows the ending and you don't, but then you probably don't even remember what's happening in the story.
I really do. Like that's one thing with Death Stranding is that why I've enjoyed it up to now so much is like I haven't finished that game. I'm only 30 hours in, but I can remember everything that's happened.
You will never finish this game.
Well, I'm going to have a lot of time on my hands soon, so I think I definitely.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
I think I definitely will.
All right, but hold on, we're getting ahead of ourselves, right? Let's
roll it back.
Rewind it to
February,
early February.
Well, so was there anything else in Jan?
I mean,
so it was Kingdom Hearts, we said, which disappointed a lot of fans.
Kingdom Hearts and Resident Evil. It was the Ace Combat returned to the screens through Ace Combat 7.
Yeah. But wasn't Resi in Feb?
No, Resident Evil 2 was in January.
Wow, and that was one of your games of the year. We can't skip it if it was.
I mean, I had a very good time with Resident Evil 2. Just not a time that at that moment I thought would be one of my games of the year come December. That's all. I just thought it was a very good Resident Evil game, and one where, for me, the balance between survival horror and action game tendencies was very well. It was very well balanced, and it sort of struck a chord with me.
And a lot of quality of life issues, like or improvements. So, like with the inventory management being a lot easier, not having to stop to shoot and stuff like that. Like really good. Plus that RE engine, man, like it looks so fucking
It makes
good.
It makes shooting zombies feel good.
Yeah.
I played a little bit at Gamescom of RE, and I think. One of the things that I thought really, really sort of rang home me was just how the game felt. It felt fantastic.
Yeah.
And shooting a zombie in the head with a shotgun, blowing all the flesh off of his head, but he was still alive. And I was like,
inject it right into my veins.
This is wicked.
Give me the T-virus.
That is on my have to play next year. It's on one of those. On a lull next year, I'll be picking up RE2 and playing.
So on a related note, can we just talk? I know you didn't think it was, but I definitely do, and I'm going to die on this fucking cross. It was so weird how they fucking announced Resident Evil 3 remake.
I thought it was fine.
Oh, by the way, here's the single-player component to this really average-looking multiplayer game that no one really cares about.
Yeah.
Actually, no, that's Resident Evil 3. Why don't you just fucking make a bigger deal about it?
Can I develop my argument a little bit to think?
Please
to forgive them.
Please do.
Because I think the problem now is there's such a weird mix between actual announcements, leaks that are kind of like official leaks, leaks that are unofficial, like that wasn't supposed to come out kind of leaks.
Yeah, sure.
There's this whole weird world of information around gaming, and they sort of the announcement they made was the unannounced single player campaign of Project Resistance, and it was and then they did the little release with the R and the E came together.
But I'd understand that if they
years gone by, if you hadn't have known RE3 was already a thing, which we already knew.
Yeah.
I think that could have been a nice little
but it wasn't, because we knew it was RE3. We knew they were making RE3 remake, right?
But it wasn't official. It wasn't official yet.
It was what I mean. It was about as close to official as possible.
It wasn't announced. It wasn't an official announcement.
But then,
so I kind of give them a pass.
The only way that I can
little thing.
The only way I can understand your point of view is if there was any amount of time between them saying that and then actually showing the fucking trailer that was Resident Evil 3. Because it was almost like, Alex Jones, I got a Christmas present for you. It's Resident Evil 3. Here you go.
I didn't even get to unwrap it.
It's like, but think of the other thing. Jonesy, next week I've got fucking the best Christmas present for you.
Yeah, I get what you mean, I suppose.
Like if they had
it was
said,
a bit of a weird kind of, felt a little bit.
Maybe I'm being a little bit ridiculous, but I just thought it was really fucking odd. Like,
because I want to say they even did the whole, no, did they just they sort of had Project Resistance, and then because it was tied into that, it wasn't like a separate thing, so you could have been forgiven for thinking, oh, maybe there isn't going to be an RE3 announcement. So I guess that's why it was like a rope-a-dope. I think that's why they did it.
Yeah, but and then straight away they're just like, nah, gotcha. This is Resident Evil 3. Yeah. It's like, give it some time at least if that's what you are intending.
They then also, in the same state of play, they did the old Columbo. Oh, there's one more thing where they then because you thought it was at the end, didn't you?
Yeah.
They said, oh no, also, and then they announced. I can't even remember what it was.
Ghost of Tsushima.
But then again, it was like half of a Ghost of Tsushima trailer with the promise of the rest of it at the Game Awards, which is tonight at the time of recording.
Yeah.
So you can see like they want to do these little things and they want to be fun and they're trying to like.
I'll be honest, I'm not trying to saying this to show you up, Chris, but in the moment I was on the same page as you, thinking that was a bit weird, and then I got over it immediately and got on with my life.
I hate it. And
I
cannot move on.
I stopped thinking about how weird the Resident Evil 3 trailer from 2 days ago was, because my life is easier without it.
And you like 2, so hey, you might enjoy 3.
Might enjoy 3, although Nemesis can suck my
ding
cock.
dong.
There you go.
Wow. Okay. All right. Moving on.
Whamma lamma ding dong. Moving on to, I guess, February.
Anthem.
Anthem did happen in February, regrettably.
Was that February?
Yeah, again, long time ago. And it feels like it's been a very long year for Anthem and for everyone who wanted to follow Anthem and its various misgivings.
Yeah.
I was super hyped for Anthem, like from the trailers and everything that they showed, even the gameplay stuff, even though it looked a little bit weird at some points, which, as we found out, they didn't have anything except for that fucking gameplay.
Yep.
But yeah, it was just a massive disappointment.
I think I'm discovering a trend here, which is that if Chris gets excited about a game pre-release, you should drop all excitement yourself because it's going to be shit.
Yeah, so sorry, Final Fantasy VII, Cyberpunk.
No, don't. No, hang on, no.
I'm super.
No, we have to.
I'm
specify
even more hyped for those
stuff
then.
that Chris is uniquely excited about. How about that?
I don't think that's fair.
So Half-Life Alyx, biggest flop of 2020. Brace yourselves.
I do not think that's fair.
As like the main sort of person here who is all about VR, like I am not that psyched about Half-Life Alyx.
What about Boneworks? Which is out now.
The one by the guys who
Node.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's their channel? YouTube channel?
Node.
Is it called? Was it called the
Node?
Is it Node?
Node, you chode.
Node.
I thought, okay.
Stop being such a chode.
No. So
Node.
we've been watching those guys for a long time, and we've been following a lot of what they do, and that stuff looks awesome. But at the same time, every time I try and get into like a VR thing, I'm super into it for a short amount of time, and then I kind of fall off pretty fast. Yeah. Which is why the Half-Life Alyx thing I hope is good, but it's just a VR.
Yeah. It almost seems like VR is some kind of a gimmick, and the only things that really work are those things that you can only play for 20 minutes.
It's not a gimmick. It is a developing technology. Let's say that.
Sure, fair.
Yeah, but so's my new invention.
Yeah, go on.
It's a chair with a dildo attached to it.
That's not a new invention.
Yeah,
Well, no, but it's designed for the office. And it's for subtlety. And it vibrates.
The only problem is you've got to wear arseless chaps to use it.
Oh my god.
I wear them every day.
Okay.
I've got a little trap door in the back of my boxers. You just undo 2 buttons and lower the flap.
The historians are wrong. The flap on the back of Long John's is not for going to the toilet. It's for dildos sewn to chairs.
Or cocks.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Or just cocks.
Anything you want to put in your arsehole, that's your choice. Your prerogative. That's the great thing about 2019.
Your body, your choice.
No shame.
Wow. Okay, games.
Games. So yeah, Anthem was a bit of a shit show.
Can I just say shout out to my solo Anthem stream where Hot Panic was coined.
Yes. The infamous Hot Panic.
Man, everything that could go wrong went wrong. Like
You're talking about the stream or the game?
both.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, the game matched the stream for jank.
It's a weird one because what I've played of Anthem, I actually haven't found it that bad, but I can see why it's not good.
I think
Yes.
I think for the first few hours, it's a fun game. Genuinely, I do.
The hub area is the worst aspect from what I played. That is horrible.
And the story is pretty dog shit as well.
Yeah.
But eventually you start to realize what they've done with that game. So after a few hours, and it just starts grating on you. And you're just like, why have they done this? Why have they done that? Blah, blah, blah. And eventually it just all piles on so hard that you're like, you understand why it is such a deeply flawed game that they seemingly don't know how to fix.
Right.
Although one thing that eased the pain of Anthem's disappointment was the fact that February did deliver what I think was the first game that everyone that we work with or know kind of got into all at once. That was Apex Legends.
Yeah, well, that was fantastic.
Apex Legends kind of took over us.
It did.
In early February.
Remember the time when like Apex Legends was all anyone could ever fucking talk about?
Yeah.
And look at it now, like who's talking about Apex anymore?
Me?
Well,
Yeah, one of your games of the year.
But yeah, no, Chris is right. Do you remember when it was doing like an extra 10 million players every week and it overtook Fortnite and everyone was like, holy shit, the Battle Royale wars are over. and
Hey, listen,
Apex has won. No, it didn't.
That game is a very good game.
I completely agree.
We had a lot of fun playing it. Like we all played together. We played multiplayer, and we had a great time. And I really enjoyed it. I think we all knew it was going to be good because it was Respawn, but I don't think we realized how big it was going to be at the time,
or how polished it was for a free to play title that was announced and launched within like a week or whatever it was.
Yeah, it was very quick.
It was nuts, and it's like almost like a week ago I didn't know about this game. Now I'm playing this game that has 0 bugs. There is no stuttering. There's no frame rate issues. It's smooth as butter, and it plays like a fucking dream.
And we weren't terrible at it.
No,
like you could win matches of Apex Legends and feel good about yourself for once.
Yeah.
I want to say, what was the? Oh, there was another free-to-play online multiplayer game.
Dauntless.
That must have come out similar sort of time. About
Dauntless,
a month later, maybe.
Dauntless didn't, technically speaking, come out until much later.
But it was early access.
We were playing in early access. But yeah, we had a good time with Dauntless.
I genuinely enjoyed
that's just launched for free on Switch.
Oh, okay. So that again, that's another very good game that it's free. You can pick up. You can play online with other people.
You guys started playing it, and it was at a time when I just had zero free time to jump on.
Which is a shame because it was cross-play as well. Because I remember I was playing with Jonesy and Steph at the time.
Yeah.
And they were on PC.
Shout out to Steph. R.I.P.
One of the first free games I've downloaded that I sunk real money into. I must have put about 20 quid into that.
Yeah.
Decent.
It's got the hooks for it, that's for sure. Speaking of spending money, February, I also want to quickly give a shout out to the busiest release date of the whole year, I think.
Oh, yeah?
It was February 15th. Crackdown 3, Far Cry New Dawn, Jump Force, and Metro Exodus all came out on the same day.
Wow, only one good game in that pile.
Yeah, you're actually right. Metro Exodus, which for large parts of the year was one of your favourite games, I feel like.
Yeah, up to that point, it was the contender for my game of the year. It was really good. I know you had some technical issues with yours.
Yeah, I just wasn't wowed by it. Didn't really get into it.
I thought it was really cool. I thought there's some really fucking cool set pieces that they had in that game, and it's a pretty game, and it played well. So yeah, I liked it. Crackdown 3, forever in the making.
Jamie loved.
Hey, I finished it.
No, I understand why Jamie likes it because it was free on Game Pass.
It was also a Crackdown game. I don't know if people realise that, but Crackdown 3, a Crackdown game.
It's a fun formula.
Turns out that it hasn't aged particularly well or particularly gracefully since the first two came out. But if you don't mind that, then it's just a game that you can play.
I feel like they keep doing this, where they keep releasing games after like 10 years, and people get really excited that this game's going to be the one that they wanted.
Shout out Half-Life Alyx.
And it's just not. Every time it happens, everyone is so disappointed.
I think it's a symptom of kind of that hype train, isn't it? Where it can never be as good as you want it to be, so it's shit.
Yeah, maybe that's exactly.
And that's exactly why Half-Life Alyx is called Half-Life Alyx and not Half-Life 3.
The weird thing about that, I think, because the fact that it's VR though suggests to me that it isn't Half-Life 3.
I think you'd be surprised how much of it was probably going to be a Half-Life 3 anyway. Yeah.
Okay.
Look, time will tell. Jeff Keighley's doing his little documentary. What was it called? The Final Hours.
Yeah.
So more will be found out there. I'm not coming from any kind of an insider ring, but I have a proper
Chris
feeling.
is the Valve News Network.
I am Gabe.
Maybe one of the only games that you and I will be able to play to its fullest, and Jamie won't.
Jamie will get there.
Actually, you're no, because you did say you're going to get a PC next year.
I'm hoping to. Like I said, I'm going to have more time and money than usual around the start of the new year.
We expect lots of streams from all of us while we try to figure out our lives.
Chris hit the nail on the head. I think I need to figure out my life first before I spend 1,500 quid on a PC. But it's there's potential there.
Yeah. I'm actually tempted to, because we've talked about doing like satellite channels around this main channel.
Yeah.
I think I might actually do like a VR gaming channel.
Why not?
I think I'm tempted, and
I think you're well suited for it.
Yeah, and I think Half-Life Alyx would be a great one to really get.
I can tell you now, I would watch, even if it's not a live stream, I'd watch a 10-hour video of you just fucking hacking it to Beat Saber, because it's the funniest thing ever. What I would do is I'd switch off all music. And I'd just watch you on mute, just fucking flailing your limbs.
2 times speed.
Do you know what you do if you have a VR channel?
Go on.
Is you do all your VR gameplay things on a green screen and give people the roar of the green screen so that they can just make you do whatever you want.
Like you're fighting like Darth Vader or some shit.
I thought you were going to say you do the thing where you put you into the game, but no.
That's
even better, even better.
That too.
Yeah. So I know how to do that. I actually looked into it, about how you go about doing that. And it's quite straightforward.
Nice.
Well,
putting yourself into the game.
Yeah, you know where people used to have the green screen and then they position their character into where they should be in the game, so you can see them interacting. Because you just put a virtual camera in the virtual world in the same place as your real camera in the real world.
Ah, right, okay.
It's just as simple as that, folks. Just put a virtual camera in your virtual world.
It's as easy as ABC 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
It's just peeking out the side of your visor and just moving the camera and going, that's about right.
All right, those other games. So Far Cry New Dawn, a game which we were quite harsh on to begin with, but we warmed to it. Not to say it's a good game, but we did warm to it.
It was fine.
Calling it a game is maybe a little bit generous in the first place. It's more of like a big DLC.
Well, look, it was cheaper. Call it standalone.
An expansion.
Call it standalone DLC, sure, fine, or standalone expansion. But you know what? The issue with that game, I think, is less about it actually being Far Cry New Dawn or whatever it was, and more about kind of the Far Cry formula itself, right?
We didn't need another Far Cry game.
No.
Like, Far Cry 3 was phenomenal. Far Cry 4 was still very good. And it was like Primal 5. It was just, it's too much. Too much too soon.
Yeah.
Primal was not.
I think they got to really step away from like they did with Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Just step away from it, rethink it, come back with a fresh
deep
code.
breath.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like, if Far Cry 6 was coming out next year, I don't think I'd be looking forward to it.
Me either.
Yeah.
And that's damning.
Bad.
That's
It
damning.
would just be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that other game that we said?
It was Jump Force.
Okay, so what else is on
Which,
the?
yeah. Well,
over that.
That pretty much takes us into March, to be fair. We had Trials Rising before the end of February.
Fun game.
Which, was fun for a stream, but...
We played some co-op Trials.
Oh, God. We did... they've got the thing, a tandem bike, where two people are on the same bike.
Was it E3 was it
That
Gamescom?
was... That would have been Gamescom.
You guys
It
did
was
it
just you and
Gamescom,
me.
and then you and I did it on stream.
Yes. And it's this weird thing where two people are on one bike and you're using the left analog stick to shift your weight. And it took me and Jonesy 10 minutes to realise that if the person at the front of the bike went forward and the person at the back went back, and then you alternated, it'll look like you were bumming each other on a bike.
It did look like
And
that.
the woman who was running our demo had clearly never seen any, including the first people in the history of this demo to try this, and she was losing it. And I asked for a number. She said, "No, I'm joking."
Wow.
What really got me about like that though was we were both adamant that every time we fucked up, it was the other one who'd fucked it up.
Because you can't tell. You
Yeah,
can't
you
tell.
can't tell.
at all. And so it was obviously like Jamie going, "Oh, what are you doing? You keep doing it wrong." And then I was saying the same thing.
And then you try and prove it. So you go, "Look, just let go of the controller. Let go of the controller, and I'll do it."
Well, that's what happened on the stream with us. And at the beginning, I was adamant that like, no, I'm doing everything right. But towards the end of it, I was getting really tired of that stream. And eventually, I was like, you know what, Jamie, it probably is me.
Yeah. Whereas in Gamescom, it was definitely me that was fucking up, because we went solo afterwards and did like the hardest course in the demo, and Jonesy crushed me.
Jonesy
we were trying to
ballistic.
prove, weren't we, as who it was who was actually the one who was doing
Oh,
it.
interesting.
Yes.
All right, moving on. So, what do we say, March?
March kind of continued the theme of inconsistency, really, for the year in gaming.
Rage 2 was March? Or was that late?
I think that's later. I'm
that's
kind of
later,
just...
yeah.
I can only really go in order. And
No, I was just trying to. I thought, mate, I was trying to guess that maybe you would have seen.
Let's go to the big one. Isn't it Sekiro in March?
Sekiro was March, but again, now you're jumping to the end of March, and I'm now
Sorry.
forgetting everything. For anyone that's just listening to the audio version, 3 minutes, 30 seconds before we started, I got told to get my phone out and be the oracle of the year of 2019 in gaming, which
And
means
we're
having
just messing
Wikipedia on my iPhone next to the microphone. I'm trying to scroll around being like, yeah, I think Sekiro came out that year.
Yeah, so,
let's let Jamie get back to the beginning
can
of
I
March.
before we do that, can I just say, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us on all the other socials for this kind of quality content.
Every other episode from now on will have more of a theme that was discussed longer than 30 seconds before the recording started.
Unlikely.
Well, yeah, I suppose we can't promise that.
All right,
Do you want
sorry,
to talk Sekiro?
No, go. You know what? You lead the charge.
I was going to say that Left Alive, which was one of our worst games of the year.
Ooh,
Shout out to the old times, the old videos. Came out in early March, but it was quickly followed up by Devil May Cry 5, which we all rather liked.
Yeah, that was good.
That one then took Metro Exodus's place as my potential game of the year. Yeah.
So basically, all your game of the year contenders came out in the first 3 months and all usurped each other like after 2 weeks.
yeah. Well, no,
Perfect.
because you know what it's like. We were looking at the year and we're like, fucking nothing interesting is coming out. And it's and at that point you're just grasping at straws, right? And you're like, oh, okay, maybe this will be my game of the year. Let's see how it goes. And then something else better comes out. And you're like, yeah, it was still a good game, but this one's better. I really like DMC5.
I really liked it too.
Can I tell you what I didn't like about DMC5?
Yeah, good.
The weird emo dude.
He was all right. I didn't like him, didn't mind him. He was just a bit of nothing.
Okay.
Actually, it was Dante. I just didn't like playing as Dante. I know it's crazy, but fucking Nero was so fucking good, man.
I think it's weird that it's not necessarily weird. I think Dante's introduced at a point in the story where you're so used to playing as Nero that it's like, I have to.
And it's a very different.
Come to terms with this now.
way,
Yeah.
Whereas the V missions were kind of more chill, I thought.
Yeah, because
You
you're
just
just
sit back.
standing back, letting the animals do the dirty work.
But then
Your
just like
dogs do it.
Dante was so cool, like all of his fucking quips, and it's like this is the coolest character in gaming this year.
Yeah.
Up to that point, right? Like it was like this guy's fucking cool.
all the shit with the bike that then he splits in two, and then
that's Dante, right?
I thought you were talking about Dante.
No, Nero.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
You did say Dante.
I might have. I'm very tired. Like I said, I'm very tired. Yeah. But yeah, it's a good game.
A cool game. I thought I was going to think more of it, but I didn't.
And again,
really.
a game that you can complete in 15 hours or so.
Probably less.
Yeah, which is excellent.
A game you can finish in a day.
Well,
go on then. That's a live stream.
Yeah, go on.
You're up, Jones.
Lock someone in a room.
Prove it. Challenge accepted. Prove it.
Lock someone in a room. Don't let them leave until they finish the game.
Yeah.
You're gonna die. You're gonna die in that room,
bucket.
dude.
Oh, Jonesy, and your ideas.
That was your idea.
No, it wasn't.
No, it
Great
I don't know who you've heard that from, but it was
right,
not
moving on.
my idea. The Division 2.
Ah.
Another in a long line of Tom Clancy experiences.
Just shoot the red light, Jamie.
Yeah, apparently that's what you had to do the whole time.
Shoot the red light. The massive drone. All you had to do was shoot the flashing
red
lights
light.
underneath it.
Yeah.
Jamie couldn't do it.
No.
You two are fucking assholes.
To be fair, we were winding you up so much. I'm not
that
surprised.
stream really got on my tits. But the Division 2, before that stream, had not yet got on my tits. It was one of my favourite games of the year.
That's good to know.
I love those looter-shooter experiences. I struggle to stay with them beyond the kind of 60, 70-hour mark. But,
Jesus, yeah.
man, do you get your money's worth if you like these games. And I really like them.
Really do, yeah. I mean, I fell off that so quickly, that game.
Can I tell people just how quickly?
Yeah.
I think you played it once. Maybe twice.
I think I played it once without you, and I think I played it twice with you, and then
Once with me.
Was it once with you? So I think I played it 3 times total. But even those that wasn't that they weren't that long. I think my first sitting was like an hour.
Wow.
And then the second one was a bit longer, and then maybe it was the third time I played with you then for a couple of hours maybe. But I fell off that game hard, and the issue I've always got with them is the next time you go to play it,
You're so far behind.
that you're then the people that you play with, and this is not on them. This is not me criticizing Jamie, but they're like, oh, I've done this mission. Should we go and do this one? Oh, you need to do that. You haven't done that story mission yet. Oh, you need to do this.
Yeah.
Oh, and I was like,
it's super frustrating. You'd rather leave it.
I'm out.
I didn't even play the game. I got so burnt by the first division. I was like, fuck this.
It feels exactly the same as the first one as well. Maybe that's unfair to say, but I got it and I was like, okay, this is not.
Yeah.
It needed to be different, and it's not.
Yeah, I mean, watching the streams of you guys playing, I was just like, I don't think I made bad choice not playing this game.
Fair enough. To each their own, huh?
Shout out Ubisoft. We love you.
Potentially one I would go back to, like just to if I felt the need, but it's probably not.
But I think by the end of this podcast, you'll take that back because you'll look at all the games that you could potentially go back to. And you're like, you know what? I have time, but not that much time.
So the 2 that I'd marked that in my head I'd marked down that I needed to go back to from this year that I hadn't played yet were RE2 and Metro Exodus. They were the 2 that I thought I'm not playing them when they come out. I'm playing them. I'm gonna wait and play them because I don't have time, money, inclination at the moment. But I want.
I reckon you could probably get through an RE2, but Metro Exodus probably take you a while.
I think
I haven't finished it.
Realistically, we'll see
just
what
don't have the
happens
time.
next year.
Yeah. Speaking of games you haven't finished, Chris, Sekiro did indeed come out in March on the 22nd to be
my
precise.
game of the year. Well, one of them. I absolutely fucking loved this game, and in a way that surprised me.
You talk about it a lot, which must mean it's good.
It's got its hooks in me. It's not an easy game, and the reason I haven't finished it is I can't sit down for a long period of time to bash through this game. It's more like, hey, an hour here, an hour there. And there was one stage where I got into a bit of a bottleneck, and I had to defeat a boss at kind of in the middle of the game, Genshiro. And man, because I could only squirrel away like some fights with him every now and then, it took me literal months to beat this guy.
I remember you saying like I've been stuck in this dude for a couple of months, and it was like, how, like what? I can't believe you're still doing it. But then when you say like you've only got
if you add up all the hours that I actually was trying to beat through him, it's maybe like 3 or 4.
An hour and a half. Hour and a half spread across 6 months.
No, but yeah, I mean, it's a hard game, but I don't think it's ever necessarily unfair, which is maybe some of the criticisms that people has had of Dark Souls in the past.
Right.
It didn't really feel like a lot of bullshit going on in that game. Like, it's all understandable, but it plays so well. The story's, it's okay if you care to kind of like typical From Software fashion, like uncover it. But yeah, it's good. It's really good. And I'd recommend it, even if you're not into Dark Souls, but you do like a serious challenge from a technical game, then give it a spin.
The little bit I played of it on stream, I definitely found it more accessible than a Dark Souls or a Bloodborne.
But the thing is, I think you need to be a certain kind of game. Like, it's not a game for Jamie. I just feel like, Jamie, no offense, but
fair enough.
I don't think you've got the patience for that level of difficulty and grind for it.
I tend to agree. I think I can have that amount of patience with certain genres of games.
Yeah.
But I've had enough hands-on time with FromSoft stuff that, yeah, you're right, basically.
Does make me really interested to see what happens with Elden Ring. So
I just worry I'm going to chalk that one up as another thing of like, hey, this seems interesting. I can't play it.
it's a FromSoft game, so yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
March, coincidentally, also when the Google Stadia was announced. An announcement that's
And
aged
the industry
very
has
well.
never been the
promise
same
of
since,
Google Stadia.
right? Because it's we're all on Stadia now, and that's the future of gaming, and all consoles are dead.
To give us people like me who were like the promise of Stadia a little bit of a pass. At the very beginning, when we were talking about it being games as a service, you're going to pay your monthly fee. They were talking about how the fact you could play it on all different things, on a browser, on your tablet, on your phone. You could play it all over the shop. That I still stand by the fact that if they'd have got that format and the contracts and stuff right, it could have been, quite an impressive launch.
Yeah.
They then went on to fuck themselves with their bullshit. Pay for the thing, but then also pay for the game, and then it doesn't really work. And
they should have just made it an all-in-one kind of service. I think.
Of course,
it would have been much. It would have been more expensive, sure, but it would have been so much better.
I would have paid it if it was £20 a month. I would have paid it.
I think loads of people would, as long as it worked, which it doesn't.
It doesn't work.
It's really bad. I was reading some articles where it's saying like, hey, it's bad when like NVIDIA GeForce Now is fucking streets ahead of whatever Google Stadia is doing, and you think about how much money they're throwing at it. Whereas for NVIDIA, it's probably like, it's just this thing we're doing on the side.
Yeah.
Our main business is still graphics cards, so shout out NVIDIA.
Maybe Google should have sat down with NVIDIA and gone, hey, can I pick your brain?
Yeah.
Where'd you get your ideas?
Even like PlayStation Now, just have a chat with some of the dudes who run that and be like, we just want to run
buy
something
them a coffee and just go, so tell me about it.
Yeah, take them out for a poutine.
Go and speak to Phil Spencer. So Game Pass, like,
how does it work?
Yeah, how did you guys
Magnets.
do that?
What are the troubles you've had?
So people pay a fee and you give them games? What if we gave people Farming Simulator for buying the 4K version of our service? It's the only version that's available.
Or it's like, what was it? What if we offer the same game that's available on consoles and PC, but charge $10 extra?
That.
And if they've already bought it on console or PC, they have to buy it again to play it on Stadia.
Good idea, huh?
That is what blew my mind, is that you can pay full price for the game plus an amount every month to play it as it was intended to be played.
But Jay, I can't remember what game it was, but recently
it was Darksiders. Genesis.
Darksiders Genesis retails for $10 more on Stadia than on the consoles.
Yeah. But also,
in addition to okay, unless you have the free one, but the service.
But then the free one isn't the proper full version of the game. It's a lower resolution. It's maximum 1080, right?
Look, I don't think
free version doesn't exist yet, though.
Yeah, free version doesn't exist.
Oh,
yet.
Of course, yes. Yeah,
but also
that's why if the free version existed, we'd try something right now.
Yeah,
but it doesn't.
Well, we might not, because you still have to buy most of the
games.
games.
You could sign up for a month and cancel it
too.
and play Destiny,
which is free. But anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Free on Stadia, also free everywhere else. Go fuck yourself. Yeah.
All right, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, from March, I'll be honest, when you move into April and May, that's when things...
dry spell.
Yeah,
dark.
The summer dryness starts early this year. Well, there were a few games that came out in the midst of that.
Right? And I think it's worth kind of mentioning. It's because all these games companies are holding their cards very close to their chest for E3.
Right.
And... yeah, I suppose it was kind of worth the wait in the end. So I guess some games you'd still shout out from April, for example. World War Z, I think, surprised a lot of people. That game was nowhere near as bad as people thought it was going to be.
Did really well. And it also kind of highlighted the Epic Store exclusive kind of thing that happened.
Right, for sure. Katana Zero was a hit little indie game.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat 11, again, easy to forget, but one of the biggest releases of the year.
Yeah.
I don't know why I always remember that Mortal Kombat came out this year. I always forget, rather.
Oh, right. Well, especially when we went to a few events around it.
Yeah, I went to fucking 2 different separate events for it. And I'm like, oh yeah, there was a fucking Mortal Kombat game this year.
Yeah.
In fact, you guys went to 3 because you went to the Terminator thing.
Yes, yeah.
You're a big year for Mortal Kombat. Yeah. They are desperate to get press and journalists at those things.
I think they did well though with that game.
Yeah, it was
a
fun
good game, but then maybe part of the problem is, like you said, people is so because it's number 11, right? Maybe it's a bit forgettable now, and they like how do you get new people onto it is really tough. You've got people that might just buy fighting games because they buy them, but actually to get new people into that is a tough one to do. People go, well, hey, look, I haven't played one since 2. So
did they have it at Evo? They must have.
Probably. I don't really follow the fighting game community stuff, but I presume so.
Yeah.
Anyway, April was rounded out with the previously discussed Days Gone, which, some people liked, some people didn't.
It always surprised me, like our videos on Days Gone. So we made a video that was like, reasons why Days Gone will suck or something like that, right? Or will fail or whatever it is. And we got a lot of... To this day, I'd say we had valid points.
We got lit up for that.
Oh, man. But like I can't believe that people were so fucking aggressively defending this game. Like I can understand someone
divisive game.
I can understand someone saying like, "Look, you guys are wrong." Like I can understand that. Like, yeah, sure, if it fulfilled what you want from a game, sure. But they were like, "I'm gonna hunt you down and feed your dog to you, you motherfucker!" Like it's like, what are you doing?
That's because you're talking to bikers, right? So they're the most aggressive kind of like
Hell's Angels.
I think part of the issue with that was part of this whole gaming community reaction to the critics. There's been a bit of a war between the critics and the gaming community in some strange areas, and that was definitely one where critics were kind of saying this game isn't going to be very good. Yeah, that was kind of the consensus, and then there was a massive backlash to that. Yeah, and I think we felt a bit of a brunt of that.
Yeah,
the IGN video review of Days Gone, I remember being particularly brutal.
Right.
About the game or about the backlash?
The backlash to it. I mean, but then that's almost every other IGN review nowadays. Yeah. Even the IGN's Game of the Year, which they announced was Control the other day, now people are accusing them of taking money from fucking Remedy of all people.
Yeah, Remedy, I'm not going to pay.
Remedy are going to write IGN a check. There were some tweets that really made me laugh. It's like, it's influencers who can be and famously often are, like, bought out by sponsors to say whatever the fuck they need them to say, accusing legitimate media of taking money.
Who are the people who actually are the ones who, legally speaking, are not allowed to, shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
You hear a lot of stories about influencers getting backhanders, about getting, even just like access, little treats to influence their decisions.
Dude, Jacksepticeye saying, "Oh my god, Google Stadia! Oh my god, Google Stadia is the best thing ever!" And it's like, come on, dude, this video is sponsored by Google. What are you going to say? You're going to take a shit on it?
No. The one thing I'll say about because I quite like Jacksepticeye. The one thing I will say about him is he's like that about everything. So I think that's how he kind of gets around it. Is he's never negative, so he's always just positive.
I remember, and we've had similar experiences to this, I guess, in theory. But Borderlands 3 was a weird one this year, where it's like, okay, no money changed hands. We weren't paid anything to talk about or cover Borderlands 3.
Yeah.
But what are the circumstances under which I played Borderlands 3? I was fucking flown halfway across the world to Los Angeles, put up in a hotel. We were taken out to dinners. We were taken to... It's all very nice. But then you have to remember, at the end of the day, they're like, hey, have a good time with Borderlands 3 today, okay?
This game.
Yeah, and it's almost, you think to yourself, all right, well, if there's ever a Borderlands 4 and I want to go back to LA, maybe I got to be a bit... But I think we've been very good. Some people may disagree, but I thought we're generally very good at kind of being on the level about what we thought about games. And not having our position bought.
Let me put it this way. The same guy who made it possible for one of us to go to LA to play Borderlands was also the same guy who gave us a free copy of WWE 2K20, which we tore to shreds, both on a stream and in our 6 worst games of the year list on a previous channel.
Yeah.
I will say, because I can see why people think that sometimes you're shilling for games companies, because it can seem like that. But hey, sometimes we're just wrong as well. Like, genuinely, this year, I think the biggest example would be Fallout 76.
That was last year, but
oh god, of course it was last year.
No, but I agree with you.
But that was probably the biggest example in the recent memory whereby we were given the game, we covered it very positively. But I think with that, like, you genuinely were really looking forward to Fallout 76, weren't you? And you were excited for it.
I hand on my heart, like, I enjoyed what I played of it. Maybe if I'd continued playing it, I would have bumped up against it a lot harsher. But you know what? Like, we were always very transparent about it. It was like, hey, we only played it for a handful of hours, and we really liked what we played, and that's not a lie.
And before you know your opinion, because you haven't really played it, you can't know what your opinion is going to be. It's the idea that you could know it's not going to be very good.
You know what we did
You
know what we did at the end of last year?
Go on.
We put Fallout 76 on our list of worst games of 2018.
Because then we'd played it and we were being realistic.
Because we're not hypocrites, right? Like, and in that video I said, look, I still enjoyed bits of it, but it is very obviously one of the worst games of the year. And that's just what it is.
Yeah. I think that's... I genuinely believe that I don't think we would shill for a game because we got access or paid for it. I can't think any situation.
Maybe we just haven't been offered enough.
Well, because then you'd lose all credibility. That's what I suppose.
That just happened with. Again, with WWE, we got sent to a pre-release event for WWE,
of course,
and we just didn't talk about it. Because there wasn't anything to say, and then when the game came out and we played the finished version and it was bad, told everyone it was bad.
There's one thing they do, which is kind of, I suppose, is on purpose. The Borderlands event that you and I went to play Borderlands 3, when they'll give you a level earlier on in the game where you can play a little bit. They'll then bump you up to a high level character with loads of unlocks. Your skill tree is full, and you feel super powered. You've got the juxtaposition between what you've just played and what you're now playing, and then you come out of that experience being like, that game was so goddamn good. I really enjoyed it. Which is a weird thing to try and battle with, because you don't realise that's happened, and that's why they've kind of done that.
Yeah.
Because you kind of feel like the reason they've done it is to give you the full experience.
Yeah, but no, not really.
It's a vertical slice. Yeah. In a roundabout way. It's the most tailored version of the game that they can have you experience.
Yeah, but when you talk about vertical slice as well, it's like, hey, there's nothing else in the build of this game, so nothing else is going to give you shoddy frame rates. That's why it's going to feel smooth as butter.
Yeah.
But surprise, surprise, the vertical slice they work on is a vertical slice that's going to make you walk away going, what a goddamn good game that was.
Oh, yeah.
Not to say that Borderlands 3 wasn't a good game.
No, it happens all the time.
It happened when I played Control at one of the NVIDIA RTX events.
Right.
Where I was like, this game is so fucking cool. And it got me wondering, like,
have they done this on purpose?
But I'm very happy to report, as my other game of the year, it was really good.
I have a weird thing with Control.
We'll get there.
We might not at this rate. We're still in fucking May.
Rattle through them.
Okay,
Only big ones.
Only big ones. I guess Rage 2 came out in May.
It's pretty big.
I enjoyed Rage 2.
I remember you enjoying it. I thought you were so wrong.
Yeah, I know.
One of the only games you finished this year, Alex Jones.
One of like 4, I think. 4.
You did not finish 4 games this year.
I think I did.
Fuck off. You didn't.
I think I did finish 4
How?
games this year.
Where?
How?
Where? What? No.
Let me think.
Well, you finished Modern Warfare.
You finished Modern Warfare.
I finished Control. I finished Rage 2.
That's 3.
No, but there was one earlier on in the
Should I check your PSN live on a podcast?
No, that's fine.
Oh, I'm kind of tempted now. Was it maybe a PC or a VR game?
It must have been.
Well, it might come up. It might come up.
It might come
up. There must have been another one.
Rage seemed okay to me, if a bit forgettable.
That's the thing. Whilst I liked it, enjoyed it, finished it, it was very forgettable.
Yeah. Although, like we said, and this is an example of how we maybe didn't feel we had a bias to it. We got invited to that Rage Destruction Derby event where we had a shit ton of fun. It was great. So good. But we said the game was a bit average. So.
Let me be serious though with Rage. Like if they announce Rage 3, I'm there. And it's coming out next year, or I'll be all over it.
I think it would have to be drastically different for me to go anywhere near it.
I think it would have to be very different, but it hasn't automatically put me off. So like Far Cry, we're saying about Far Cry 6 was announced, I'd be like, I'm not touching that.
Yeah.
But no, I think if they said Rage 3, I'd be like, yeah, I like where they went from Rage to Rage 2. I want to see where they go from Rage 2 to Rage 3.
Anyway, what's going on? What's
next? May was rounded out with a couple of indie games. I think you guys remember Outer Wilds and Void Bastards, both coming out at basically the same time and both being on Game Pass. That was pretty cool.
Outer Wilds, an indie darling for a lot of games journalists.
A lot of people's game of the year.
I loved watching you guys play that on stream.
We just didn't get it, and I've tried to play it twice since, and I don't get it.
The best bit is just you crashing into the sun and not realizing you'd even done it, and then just being like.
The funny thing is also that one of the gimmicks of that game is that there's a loop, right?
Yeah.
Every fucking half an hour, whatever it is.
You never got to the loop,
no,
did you?
We didn't realise that happened because we always killed ourselves before that point came.
That's great.
Yeah, and then we were going to random planets for no reason. It was a complete shit show. Anyway.
Yeah.
That brings us into June, which obviously being the month of E3, it was especially quiet. One weird pre-E3 release. Well, in fact, let's point out two. Cadence of Hyrule was a June game.
The Rhythm Zelda game.
Yeah, and Bloodstained Ritual of the Night.
Which was a fun game. We played it on stream.
We did.
I quite liked it. And I have it installed on my PC, so now that I have more time, I might go back to it.
Nice.
Yeah, in fact, this was kind of in the thick of some of our streams, because I think next up in June was My Friend Pedro, which we also did a stream
Great
of.
game, yeah.
Crash Team Racing, which also got a live stream.
Surprisingly fun game.
I mean, yeah.
Surprising?
Surprised. I thought it was going to be awful, and then I actually quite enjoyed the short time I spent with it.
Pretty much exactly what I thought it would be.
I thought it was going to be so bad.
I thought it did the exact same thing that the Crash Insane Trilogy did, which you polish these games up a little bit, but you made them pretty, and they're okay to play.
Yeah.
Right.
But they're for fans. They're for hardcore fans, you know. Super Mario Maker also rounded out June. A game that, again, for some reason, I continue to forget happened this year.
Yeah, I skipped over it entirely.
Felt like the fuss was not as big as it was around the first one, which is weird considering that was on Wii U.
Yeah. Fair. Do we want to talk about E3 itself? A bit of a weird one?
Sure. I mean, are we at a point where we're looking at maybe calling our year in review a part 1 and a part 2 kind of thing?
It might have to be.
Might have to be. E3 was solid. It was a unique E3 for us because it was our first one live streaming it all, which meant everyone had to stay up and watch everything through, apart from Jonesy, who was a fucking part-timer and only showed up at the end.
I actually stayed at home watching you guys stream them and then was commenting.
Should just come in.
Nah. You and hundreds of other people. Shout out to the fans.
It was a lot of fun doing that, but it did drain me like anything.
Oh yeah,
it was ridiculous.
We've got some recordings that will never see the light of day from the end of that week when we were trying to do recaps. It was
my God.
It's just not worth it anymore.
Yeah. I lost my voice. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. But I thought it was a solid E3.
I thought it was pretty trash.
There were trash press conferences, but there were two that were decent enough that I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And that for me was
Microsoft
and Nintendo.
Yes. Yeah, Breath of the Wild 2, baby.
Breath of the Wild 2.
Bring it on.
Yeah. No More Heroes 3 was in that press conference.
Yeah.
Bunch of random stuff. I can't even remember some of it now.
So you were super
Metroid
psyched
Prime.
about Final Fantasy 7.
Yes, dude. And then getting to play it at Gamescom was like fucking a dream.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think I'd be able to, because I was like, the queues are going to be insane. I'm not even going to try it. And then we walked by and it was like empty. Anyway, let's rattle through the rest. I don't want to do a part 1 and part 2.
Well, I mean, I have to go in the next 10 minutes.
So let's wrap it up in 10 minutes.
Let's just do this.
What do you want
We can do it if you stop talking about it.
What do you want to do for the last 10 minutes? Try and rattle from June to December?
Let's do it.
Or
Big games only, yeah. Do it. Go.
Big games only. Okay, I'm going to say the name of the game. Alternate between the two of you. I want a hot take. Whether or not you played it, I don't
I like it.
care. I don't care whether or not you played it.
My bladder is tingling. I'm so excited.
Jonesy, you're up first. I'm going to hit you with a game that's got you written all over it. Final Fantasy 14 Shadowbringers.
Do you know what? I didn't go anywhere near it. I did go near Final Fantasy 15, I guess last year, but yeah, no, this was something I was not looking at.
Final Fantasy 7 is the only one that matters. Let's carry on.
Chris, what did you think about Madden NFL 20?
Oh, I fucking didn't care about it.
I got 19 and actually enjoyed it, spent some time with it, and then got so frustrated with the menu system and how you do the online and you make your own teams. I was like, when 20 was announced, I was like, was revealed, I was like, nope.
Oh.
What did you both think of Control? I think you've said some stuff already.
Fucking love it. One of the most gorgeous games released, not just this year, but in numerous years. Gameplay was good, but not amazing. Maybe too much reliance on the telekinesis powers. But the story and the atmosphere and everything about it was just so fucking on point, and that's why it was one of my games of the year.
So I said I had a weird thing with Control. So yeah, the story is great. I enjoyed the experience from start to finish. I did finish Control. There is a decent
one of the 3 games.
I'm sure there was. Okay, maybe there wasn't 4. I thought there was 4.
I'll have to look it up.
There was a decent amount of jank sown throughout that. I don't know how I feel about. That's why I think maybe Control wasn't higher.
I didn't experience any jank.
I didn't experience any jank either.
In the sense of like the combat didn't feel that great to me.
I thought the combat felt amazing.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
I'm just going to contradict everything you say because it's entertaining.
I just didn't. It didn't go. Do you know what it felt like to me as an older game that had been revitalized. I
thought it felt like a very young game.
It was extremely useful. But you know what? I will just say though that Jonesy's 100% right. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes a game just doesn't click with you.
Yeah,
and you can't say why.
But hey, let me say, like, I enjoyed the game. I enjoyed the experience. But even like the final, the end game stuff, I was like, okay, this is kind of weird, and I don't really want to go through these multiple levels of killing all the enemy types I've encountered over the game.
Yeah,
there was a bit of.
I
don't know.
The final fight was a bit of a letdown as well. I don't want to go into it because that'll be spoiler territory.
But then I absolutely loved the fridge. The dude look at the fridge, and then you go and fight the fridge. It was fantastic.
The fridge and the ashtray maze, like so fucking good.
Great moments.
Best level of a game I've played in
and one of the
probably a decade.
One of the best characters in what was the dude's name? Darling.
Oh, Alistair Darling. Dr. Darling.
So fucking
But
good.
then Jessie, is it Jessie? What was her name? Faden was one of the most boring like protagonists.
But it usually happens with protagonists, right? Because they're meant to be like everymen.
Yeah.
Even though the voice in her head and the weird way that she talked to
I thought it was cool, man. That was part of the atmosphere. Anyway, moving on.
Anyway,
End of August, triple whammy, Astral Chain, Blair Witch, and Dark Pictures Man of Medan. 3 games that kind of passed me by.
Well, we finished Blair Witch on stream, which was nice.
Yes.
It's a decent game.
I put a few hours into Astral Chain. I wanted to like it a lot more than I actually did.
I feel that's kind of the platinum curse, isn't it?
I guess to a certain extent.
If a platinum game gets its like claws into you, that's fucking great. But if it doesn't, then it's like it's all right.
September had a couple of heavy hitters. Gears 5 came out.
Oh wow!
Yes,
I
Big
obviously it was on Game Pass, so I was able to finish that, and I enjoyed it. I think there are some issues, but I think it's a fun, solid Gears game, and not much more.
I didn't like the clunky controls.
Didn't know you played it. Borderlands 3 came out 3 days later on the 13th.
Oh,
Again,
a fun game.
A fun game. A game that I finished again and had a decent time with, but didn't have much of a desire to go back to once I'd seen through the story.
a Borderlands game.
It was a Borderlands game at a time where that formula isn't quite as fresh as it was when Borderlands 2 came out,
Fair.
let alone Borderlands 1.
I got it hoping that my wife would jump back on with the couch co-op with me, and she hated it. So
You didn't get it. I got it for you.
you did.
And you betrayed my trust by not finishing it. I felt so bad. We got some copies of that game. I gave it. I had one. We used one to stream with, and I gave the others to you and Roche. Both of you played it like once and never played it again. Steph bought it himself and played it for hours and hours and hours. And one day I accidentally let slip that I didn't give him one of the codes we got, and he was like, "What?"
I will say though,
Oh, here we go.
I'm not trying to shame you. I'm just saying.
So the only reason I haven't played it again was because, like I said, my wife was not into it, and so I was like, okay, this is one that I have to play on my own when she's not about. And so that is the reason.
So it's another one for the list. That's
Another one for the list. Because
I
I enjoyed what I played of it, but she genuinely fucking hated it. She was like, "This is so shit. It's nowhere near as good as the Borderlands games." I was like, "What are you on about?"
Well, look,
the split screen wasn't great. I'll give you, wasn't
fair enough. But a Borderlands game is a Borderlands game. If that's what you want, that's what you get.
Yeah.
Cool.
Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening also came out in September. Didn't play it.
Hard pass on that one for me. It looked cute and everything, but I have a love-hate relationship with Zelda, and that probably errs on the more the hate side of it.
You love her. She
Really?
hates you.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have guessed that it erred more on the hate side.
No,
that particular one, yeah.
Okay. Speaking of hating games, Untitled Goose Game came out on the same day, and I didn't like it.
A game that you played on stream.
A game that I played on stream and made a video
Ranting about it.
ranty thing about it, because I was like, why is everyone so obsessed with this fucking goose?
And that's coming out to PlayStation.
Jesus Christ.
There you go.
Anyway, we're going to have to go back to hot takes, I think, for a moment.
Let's do it.
I'll throw some games out. Chris, why don't we start with you with The Surge 2?
Decent game, again, kind of like that Dark Souls-ish thing. A German game. I don't know, better than The Surge 1?
Perfect. I love it. Put that on the box, Jonesy. I know you played a lot of it, FIFA 20.
I don't even know if I played one game of FIFA 20. Have I played one? No, I've seen it being played. That's as good as I can get.
Wow.
It looks like a FIFA game to me.
It looks like a FIFA game. That's on the box.
I watched my brother play it with a mate. That was it. Great.
You need to talk about FIFA.
FIFA was fine this year. The career mode was a bit of a mess coming out of the gate, but they've sort of slowly started fixing it. Ultimate Team I don't touch anymore because I don't want to spend money on that shit.
Yeah.
And Volta was not as interesting an addition as I thought it could be.
They should just release FIFA Street.
I think after Volta they shouldn't.
Fair
enough. Volta is effectively FIFA Street within FIFA 20, and it's not great.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
They'd have to rethink it. Destiny 2 Shadowkeep arrived early October.
That's going to be on you, dude.
Again, it was good. I had a good time with it. I think it reinvigorated my interest in Destiny 2, at least for a few weeks.
Was that where they also introduced the new game type?
No, you're thinking of Gambit. That was from last year and Forsaken.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It
shows how long since I've played
over
Destiny
a year
2.
behind on Destiny 2.
Get with it, Jonesy.
Oh,
my
Tower
good
is
Lord.
shaking his head.
Ouch.
Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
Ooh.
One of the most high-profile fuck-ups of the year, probably.
Yeah, it was not good. We played it on stream at Gamescom. To be fair,
just the multiplayer.
Just the multiplayer, and we had a blast of a time.
What they did with that, like, what were they thinking?
Well, yeah, and then it was again a video that caused a game that caused Jamie to create a little bit of a rant video.
Yeah. Understandably so, though. Like, what they could... I think the promise was so high. The execution was so
I mean,
bad.
you guys tried to stream it when it launched, and you couldn't get into the
We couldn't.
servers.
We couldn't log into the servers the entire stream.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, a game that I wish I'd played, Disco Elysium.
Oh, right, yeah.
I'm kind of waiting for it to be cheaper and or be on consoles, but I've heard really damn good things about it.
Cool.
Yeah, loads of people, like Steph and John Babb, absolutely fucking loved it.
Absolutely. And then we get to the day of the fateful Super Stream. The Outer Worlds, Medieval, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. The triple whammy, the biggest day probably of October, certainly.
That was a fun day for us, streaming all 3 games, because we couldn't decide which one to do, so we just did all of them. Medieval is very much a PS1 game.
Yes.
I mean, what did you expect?
Outer Worlds was cracking.
Outer Worlds is fun.
I'm still playing it, but really enjoying it.
You'll finish it one day.
I genuinely will, because I've really enjoyed that.
And Modern Warfare. Just solid single-player
I played it last night.
Did you?
Yeah, because I play games unlike you.
I finished Modern Warfare.
Did you? He's so astonished here that a game that I
Do you
might
know why?
actually be
It
playing
was
again.
short enough that I could actually
Yeah, it was like
finish
5 hours, dude.
Because the problem with that around that time was I got Outer Worlds, was playing it non-stop. Then I played Modern Warfare, and I really wanted to finish Modern Warfare, so I did. Then Death Stranding came out, and so I got onto that. So that's like 75 hours of gaming across those 3 games, and
I think it was a good return to form for the single-player component of Modern Warfare. Let's carry on. What's next?
Speaking of Death Stranding, that arrived early November.
Yeah.
Ended up being your game of the year, Jonesy. Easily your game of the year.
Fantastic. One, I did not expect to like that game as much as I did, and yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, some of it is janky, some of the storytelling is weird, some of the game is like what, but such a good experience.
I know you got to run, dude. Don't stress. Just like 5 more minutes.
No, I'm gonna leave in the next minute.
There we go.
Which one I'm gonna ask you to give me 1-word reactions to each of the following games.
Go on.
Need for Speed Heat.
Didn't play it.
Skip it.
Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Don't care.
Skip it.
Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Want to play more of it. Really enjoyed the time I've spent with it.
There's a lot of words.
It's okay.
And then Shenmue 3.
Game of the year.
Shenmue 3 Game of the Year. And I think that pretty much sums up 2019.
Wrapped up. 1, 2, and 3. Well, everybody, thank you so much for watching us. Sorry for the abrupt ending, but we did kind of run over a little bit more than we were anticipating.
Turns out 2019 was a long year. 365 days in the end.
Can you believe it?
More than usual.
Condensed into just over an hour. So there you go, for your viewing and listening pleasure. As we said at the start, we are obviously set up this new channel, which is the SuperShow podcast. So please do support us wherever you can, whether it be on YouTube, on podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or even Twitter.
Tweet at us at SuperShowPod.
At SuperShowPod, yes.
You've remembered it already. This is
incredible. It's amazing. It's a new channel, a new year coming up, and a new Alex Jones.
And we'll be back next week with another podcast.
With any luck. And with that, thank you so much for watching and listening, and hopefully you'll catch the next one. See ya.
See you there.
soon.
Bye.